In this video, I'm going to tell you about the ways poor circulation can impact the way your brain is functioning, signs you can look for, and of course, which herbs you can use to help. There are so many factors that can contribute to reduced focus and diminished mental clarity. That's why I'm creating an entire series on this topic to guide you in figuring out what may be the cause of your memory and focus challenges and to introduce you to some wonderful herbal friends that would love to help. That way, you can naturally revitalize your mind. Before we get started, a quick disclaimer. I am a clinical herbalist, not a licensed healthcare professional. So I am not treating, diagnosing, prescribing, or even trying to prevent any diseases. This video is strictly intended for educational purposes only. Without further ado, let's get started. I do feel called to briefly address some herbal misconceptions. That way, I am setting realistic expectations for you. One, herbs are not pharmaceuticals. And I know that seems obvious, but you would be surprised how many people drink a cup of tea and expect these quick, fast acting results. In most cases, herbs aren't like that. They generally are going to need some time to build up in the system, meaning that they're going to need you to take them consistently. Second thing I want to address is herbs are generally safer than pharmaceuticals. But just because they're natural and safer than pharmaceuticals, this does not mean that you do not need to exercise any caution. Even the safest and most gentle herbs can interact with medications, so it's always wise to use your discernment. Okay, so how does circulation impact the way your brain works? Well, in case you didn't know, I just spilled my tea. In case you didn't know that. Oh, that's nice. In case you didn't know, your brain is so high maintenance. And honestly, rightfully so. It's got a lot of jobs. So it needs a constant delivery of oxygen and nutrients. That way it can produce ATP, it can synthesize different hormones, and it can remove metabolic waste, which is like the waste product that's produced from doing all these other jobs. So when your brain is not getting an adequate delivery of oxygen or nutrients, and there's metabolic waste buildup in the brain because the blood flow is not circulating there and removing it, a lot of symptoms can happen. Difficulty focusing, feeling easily confused, absent-minded and kind of spacey, difficulty remembering things, especially new information or like facts and people's names. This can also impact your mood. This can look like depression, restlessness, anxiousness, or feeling very easily fatigued. Another good indicator of having poor circulation would be if your hands and feet are always cold. Now you know how circulation impacts the way your brain functions and which symptoms to look for. So which herbs would be best for you? If you're enjoying this video, I want to kindly ask you to please give it a boost in the algorithm, give it a like, a subscribe, a comment, maybe even share it with somebody that could benefit from this information. And yeah, let's get back to the video. This herb is known as the fountain of youth in China, and probably because it has the ability to strengthen, nourish, and rejuvenate the mind and connective tissue. This herb is Gotu Kola, and Gotu Kola has neuroprotective and neurotrophic effects. Neuroprotective meaning that it's going to protect your brain cells from damage and degeneration, and the neurotrophic effects strengthen and enhance the function of your brain cells. This herb also enhances circulation, improves memory, sharpens thinking, and increases alertness. Not to mention, it also has adaptogenic properties, meaning that it is going to strengthen your body's ability to handle stress, mentally, emotionally, and physically. Gotu Kola is specifically indicated for memory loss, especially when it comes to aging, having difficulty putting together their words, or struggling to organize and plan, or if they become easily confused, or their memory is noticeably less accurate than it has been. These could be some good indicators that Gotu Kola might be extra helpful. Herb is also indicated for those who are a nervous wreck. So think having a nervous breakdown, or if they're like hysterical or even just overly anxious. Because Gotu Kola has this ability to calm the nervous system without sedating the person. This herb is generally considered safe, but if you have allergies to plants in the Apiaceae family, I would use caution with this. Moving on to our next herb, and this one was used by ancient Greek scholars to help sharpen their mind and enhance their memory, especially when taking exams. And personally, this one has been my herbal study buddy for years. If you haven't guessed it yet, this one is rosemary. Rosemary enhances circulation and can be really beneficial for those who experience headaches or even migraines. And it has the ability to improve focus and enhance memory. Its ability to do this is because of its effect on the neurotransmitter acetylcholine. And I'm not going to get all sciencey on you, but I will say that acetylcholine is largely involved in the learning process. So when there is a higher concentration of it in the brain, we are able to focus more, remember more, and think more sharply. Rosemary also has the ability to enhance alertness, and this is because of its invigorating and refreshing effect on the brain. And most herbs do need time to build up in the system, but rosemary can actually be felt pretty quickly. Some specific indications for rosemary include feeling weak or fatigued or having a pale and sickly complexion. If you feel like you've lost your senses, if your sense of smell or your sense of sight is starting to become more dull, or if you feel like you've lost your common sense, rosemary has this ability to really bring us home to ourselves, and that includes back to our senses. So if you feel lost and you feel like you just don't even know who you are anymore, this might be a good herb to incorporate into your daily routine for these more spiritual and energetic properties. Also, if you struggle with digestive issues, rosemary has an affinity for the digestive system and can be particularly helpful when there is gas, bloating, cramping, and just indigestion in general. If you are pregnant, I do not recommend taking therapeutic doses of rosemary. That does not mean you cannot have culinary doses. That is a completely different thing. But when it comes to heavier, therapeutic doses, I do not recommend it if you are pregnant or if you have a heavy menstrual cycle because it can increase bleeding. Additionally, it is believed that rosemary can interfere with the absorption of iron. So if you take iron supplements, don't take them together. Or if you're eating an iron-rich meal, I would not recommend taking rosemary with this. Moving on to our next herb, which is like a living fossil. It has a reputation for being a longevity tonic, which makes sense because the ginkgo tree has existed for over 2 million years. Ginkgo not only improves circulation to the brain, but it enhances the brain's ability to utilize glucose and oxygen, which if you think back just a little bit ago, we were talking about how needy your brain is, how it's really high maintenance. Well, these are some of the things getting delivered to it, and ginkgo is going to enhance how well the brain can utilize these. So therefore, it is going to enhance your focus, memory, concentration, and how quickly you can process information. Some specific indications for this herb include feeling dizzy or lightheaded or having ringing in your ears, which is also known as tinnitus or vertigo. This one is also specifically indicated after head injury, specifically when there is a noticeable cognitive decline following the injury. I do not recommend taking this if you are taking antiplatelet medication, anticoagulant medication, or if there's any type of excessive bleeding, including before surgery or before getting a tattoo or something, because it's going to increase bleeding, which could increase the chances of problems. If you enjoyed this video, I encourage you to hit that subscribe button and even the little notification bell thing that lets you know when I post something, because this video is the first of a series on the root causes of poor focus and concentration, and of course, which herbs you can use to help. Until next time.